time with family, staying active, doing what you love. We understand how important it is to live your best life, even as times are changing. At Holzer, we strive to help every patient achieve their best health during every stage of life. With more options for care through in-person and virtual visits, we are dedicated to providing you with excellent care every time. Live your best life with Holzer.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Talk of the Town podcast. I'm Josh Wellington, Executive Director of the Gallia County Chamber of Commerce, and I am joined today by Robin and Danielle Fowler from Robin Fowler State Farm. Ladies, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming in. This is exciting. Definitely. So let's talk a little bit first. State Farm Insurance. You've been with State Farm for how long?
Well, 20 years. This year, 20 years.
And what made you go down the road of insurance? Well,
that is interesting, and I don't know if you know this story. I actually, in 1991, went to work for Tom Wiseman and the Wiseman Insurance Agency. Couldn't even say it. Wiseman Insurance Agency, and stayed there for several years, and then decided insurance just wasn't for me. Went into radio for a little bit, right. And then I opened the City Perk coffee shop and deli, and I had a regular there that brought in his sales manager and said, "Hey, we really would like to have you with State Farm." And I said, "I'm in coffee. I'm a small business owner. I don't think I want to do that." Long story short, recruited me to State Farm, came as a regular employee, and then opened my first agency in 2006. And honestly, the big part about it was the opportunity to help people. Help so many people be able to take care of them on their worst day. And it just really drew me to it, plus being a business owner.
Gotcha. And you talk about the feeling of helping people, and we'll get into your giving back to the community, but people often ask, well, you're doing this event or you're doing that event, and what do you have involved with this organization and things like that. And it's always the same answer. I do it because of the way it feels to help people. You look at you can get recognition for doing this service award or doing that. And I'll be the first to admit, I have the Volunteer of the Year award from the Chamber when I want it hanging in my living room. But that's not why we do those kind of things. It's that feeling that you get when you have been able to help somebody. And with State Farm, how do they lend themselves to making it easier for you to be involved in the community?
Oh, absolutely. We have so many different methods that I can take advantage of, opportunities to either get them to match money that I'm putting into an event, like the River Recreation Festival. Right. There has to be some marketing aspect to it, but that's on one side of it. They have grants for volunteer hours. They have matching gifts, whether it be a charitable organization or an educational. So we look for ways, like we give to Holzer Foundation and the University of Rio Grande's Foundation, and we get matching funds from them.
Wow.
So the impact, it's just so much more powerful, the dollars that we can contribute. And that's what we've done with so many different organizations and fundraisers that help immediately to the people here in this local community.
And Danielle, did you always know that this is the path you were going to take as well, or how did that come about?
No, similar kind of thing. Actually, as Robin at least, I started out in fashion design at Ohio State, got that degree, went to Texas to get a master's in psychology. So that's where that kind of helping, the community service, volunteering, all of that's really definitely a passion of mine. So coming back in 2017, looking at insurance, looking at different opportunities I had here in Gallipolis and Gallia County in general. Started working part-time for Robin, and it was going very well, so went ahead and decided to get my license, both my licenses for insurance, and that was it so far. I am going to go back to school for psychology and get my master's, but definitely for the foreseeable future, I'll be with State Farm and continue working with my mom and Robin Fowler State Farm.
You mentioned you were a entrepreneur with the City Perk. What
Yes.
year did you have the coffee shop?
1996.
Okay.
A lot of your viewers probably have kids now that came and had lunch from middle school.
Right. So back then, and so I'm trying to remember what would have been downtown. What were some businesses that were close to, like we're in that downtown area?
Well, so we were on Court Street where Zach and Scotty's is now.
Okay.
Across the street was Mogie's. Bernadine's was there, the Shoe Cafe, My Sister's Closet.
Criminal Records was still there.
Criminal Records. Did I say the Bastille? Yeah. Men's Clothing.
Stowaway.
The Stowaway, the Down Under was in the basement below our restaurant. I mean, it was a pretty full corner, which is encouraging to see that now.
It is.
Finally.
Finally, with things coming back down, and we have a meeting, the Chamber has a meeting with one of the business owners on Court Street tomorrow, actually, over at Twisted Supply with Chris. And,
awesome. Yeah.
They've got some fun things coming up, and maybe we'll get them on the podcast in the future as well. But you're right, it is seeing that downtown sort of grow now. There's a mix of offices and retail foods and things like that, which is fantastic because we order out here every single day, and you don't want to go as much as you love someplace, you don't want to go every day.
Right.
What do you think's been the key so far as to like the revitalization? What have you guys seen as kind of the motivator for people coming back down to the downtown area?
Well, I feel like we now have an engaged younger generation. So it ages me a little bit. I don't think I'm that old, but then I realize my daughter is part of that. But I do feel like there's that ownership of the downtown, and that pride, and them desiring to have. We have small business owners that want to do well, that have pride in their product, in their location, the everything about what they're doing is bringing people down and recognizing that it's there. You can't be a business owner in the community and not care about anything but your own business.
Right.
So those people they're giving back to the community. They're trying to do events. They're trying, like First Fridays, like when we've done a couple other things in the park to bring people, and then in turn businesses downtown. And then in turn we've also seen the residential revitalization of downtown. And I think that is critical as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, especially being, in my early 30s, that are kind of my age groups, taking ownership, really coming back, wanting to share with everybody. Like you were saying, can't just be one business. It's got to be everybody kind of working together, and seeing that come together. The First Fridays, the car shows, all of that stuff's really helping people in general just come, and then you get the exposure, and then I think that's just all lending itself to helping things come back and get bigger than they were before.
It seems that the people are working together more when it comes to pointing toward a common place to make the downtown. The last year has been tough for a lot of people, a year and a half.
Yeah.
How has that affected the insurance business?
It's interesting. We actually took some rate decreases, and I think a lot of companies have, but we were still open. We were open through this whole thing because you still needed your insurance. Whether you were driving very often or not, you had a car. You had car payments, you have a house. People are using their houses more. So that was, we had to take a look at that. But it's just been a very interesting, the things that were typically cyclical are not. People didn't move as much. Well, of course, the housing market has just gone crazy. Buying cars, selling cars, it's just a whole different outlook. But we also had to work a lot with people to help make sure their policies stayed in force. People losing jobs, losing benefits, losing the ability to take care of themselves. So we had a lot of outreach during our shutdown. We were shut down maybe for a couple of weeks without traffic.
Yeah, close.
And then I was the only one there, and then we all started coming in and trying to be safe with each other during the first outbreak. But then, because we knew our customers still needed us. So the most touching thing about the whole part of it was what we tried to do when people would call in. Are you okay? Do you need anything? What else is going on? Not just, you're going to pay your bill.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I feel like that.
Yeah, we did a lot of outreach just in general to customers. And if they did have bills, it was kind of almost like a word track. I mean, anything they called in about, we always were going to ask, okay, so how's everything else going? Are you okay? Do you need anything else? How are the kids? All of that stuff. How are the parents? We
do you need us to bring you groceries?
Yeah, trying to ask everybody we could.
Yeah. And that's the benefit of a small town.
Yes,
you don't get that in a Dublin
Nope.
or someplace
Nope.
when you're calling your insurance agent, or if you're calling the 800 number
Right.
or whatever in the service line. I mean, every once in a while you'll get somebody you can have a conversation with kind of while you're waiting for them to look something up or something. But it is that down home, small town, everybody looking out for everybody else. And I think a lot of times we turn on the news or we turn on the radio or the TV and we see people are just angry.
Yeah.
But we don't see that as much here.
Yeah.
Locally, yeah. I agree.
I mean, you can go to a high school football game and you don't hear people bickering about, well, I'm not going to sit there because of this, or I'm not. The interactions, it's outside of my team's going to beat your team.
Yeah, that's part of it. But
You don't get that sense. You get people who are asking like, hey, why is this business not open? Not a, well, you need to pay your people more to get workers. It's a, hey, is there something we can do to help you find people?
yeah.
And we still have businesses that are unable to find workers, and they're having to reduce their hours, and costs are going up, so prices are increasing. But we have people out there who are looking out and saying, okay, I see a need here. You guys have done a lot of work with God's Hands and that organization, and they do great things out of their service center. How do you guys choose?
I mean,
Which direction? Who can you can't help every organization.
Right.
But how do you
Interesting
choose
because,
what you kind of can do and can't do?
well, I mean, specifically for God's Hands at Work, I mean, honestly, we had one of our team members that works in our office noticed a post, I think it was on Facebook, and that they were looking for, I think, donations and help. So we reached out to them to see if we could partner with them, and so that's how the partnership started. We have we're regular food drop off, so anytime we'll do that, but we also do the food drives and like we did the school drive for beginning of school, things like that. That was kind of how that started. I mean,
and
picking and choosing's kind of different, I guess.
when I brought this agency to Gallia County in 2019, one of my goals, of course, we're a sales operation, got to make money. We're paid commission. But then secondary to that was giving back and making a difference in the community. And my team has always known that, and that's been a theme that I'm so proud of them, because that's what they want, and they will bring these people and these causes and these organizations to us, because it is hard. I get solicited for every single thing, and it's hard to choose where to put my dollars. What we look at is what impact is it going to make directly on the people of this community? How is it really going to help? Is it just marketing? Which marketing is important, and I got to do that too. But if I can make a mix of it, or even have a certain key cause, which is God's Hands at Work, to be like our thing, then that's going to be our thing, and then we'll try to surround and fill in gaps elsewhere. Like Square One, we're really trying to amp up with that, but within our budget, and trying to make sure what makes financially sense for us while still thriving otherwise.
The downtown, I think, has started, especially the 300 block, has become, and then I'm including kind of Court Street as well, I guess. It is kind of known for its generosity at this point, whether it's Poppies and everything they're doing, and with the Vertical Church, and Zach and Scotty's, the stuff Amy does for the veterans, and the stuff that you guys are doing. It's a good feeling to know that people care, and that they're going out of their way. When there's a lot of people who only have, they don't know what they're going to do with their business because of the situation that's being dealt to them. To be able to, while still maintaining your daily operations, to still be willing, because in the end, at the end of the day, we're tired. And we all have families that we're going home to, and organizations that we're trying to give time to, and things like that. And then to still be able to find time to do things that are directly affecting the community. There's something great to be said for the work that you guys are doing there, for sure. Does anything stick out, I guess, as something that you would like to see happen that may be able to help the community even more in a positive way? Something that you thought, man, if we could really just do this, or if we really had something like this, it could really help to revitalize the community.
That is a really good question. I'm going to talk through the answer maybe.
Okay.
What I love what Square One, what their goal is to have all the resources in one place for those in need, those that are homeless, that are victims of domestic violence, that need to go multiple places but have no transportation, have no cell phones, all of that. So for us, I mean, for the business community, that would be kind of the same thing. Be able to, how do you? I talk to people all the time that want to start businesses. Well, do you have your employer ID number, your federal ID number? Do you have all your taxes figured out? Do you have, to have a resource that could help with hiring, help building and zoning questions, and all of. I'm so glad. I had a building that was remodeled when we bought it, so not to have to go through all that, because we did with the city perk, and that was a major thing. But also maybe to have resources like how do we pick the places to support? What do they do, and who do they serve? And I think that would be it's a hit or miss sometimes with us.
It can be.
I mean, it's never a miss, I shouldn't say, but sometimes I feel like we do things that are more impactful.
Yeah, than others, yeah.
But maybe, I hate to have another committee for things.
Yeah.
Right.
But even have a common board or a feedback board, like something electronic.
And we've had people come in here and say, okay, I'm ready this is what I do, and then I'm going to make this a business. And I tell them, you can sell the best whatever, but if you don't know A, how to sell it, and B, to protect yourself in the event that something goes wrong, whether that means paying your taxes right, or your quarterly payroll taxes, or do you understand these things, or do you need an LLC? Do you need to be incorporated? Does it make sense for you to do all these things? And I would love for you to be able to just sell this, but there are regulations for just. We have a business that is a member. They have to be open a year before they can do a certain aspect of their business.
Right.
So they can do everything else,
like
but a year before they can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So to help them, they needed to know that ahead of time. They can have the best product. We called it an advertising. You can sell the best steak, but you still have to know how to sell the sizzle. That's why when you see an Outback commercial, it's not just a steak on a plate. It's the sizzle on the grill.
Right.
That sizzle is what gets your product. So we're here to help you with the sizzle. Going forward, hopefully coming out of COVID, do you see the insurance business kind of staying the same? I'm sure in 20 years things have changed. Do you see that continuing in a rapid pace?
Well, I see a lot more people probably wanting to work from home still. People going into business for themselves, thinking they can, which is great. I hope we'll see the growth of the small business owner again. Hopefully taxes and the political environment will be conducive to that.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like it's going to get more and more automated. We want more and more immediate. We want Amazon to ship it to us today. So we want those changes. I know at State Farm we're making some huge strides in the modernization of our business. And I think that that's what all companies are going to have to do, because we're not going to have the foot traffic that we had. I don't think it's going to come back. I don't think we're going to see that generation even is... They're stopping. The ones that wanted to pay cash, that wanted to come and have a 15, 20-minute chat with us.
Right.
We're seeing less and less of that. So you have to be more agile and more diverse and more ready to meet the customer where the customer wants you to meet them.
And I think State Farm has done a great job. They have it's going to be one of the top 5 most memorable ad characters in recent years with the Jake from State Farm. And they've been able to pivot with the same character, and then bringing in people like Patrick Mahomes and Drake and people like that. That I think they see it, and the ads are obviously a big company and great minds pointing them in the right direction, but they seem to sense that direction that you're talking about and are already catering to that. But again, when in a community like ours, it helps to have that local agent who I'm going to see at Rockets Over Rio or in the park doing a cleanup day, things like that.
Yeah.
To be able to, to see that person out.
Well, and you hit on something, and it's back to this community involvement too. And it's one thing to give money, work,
exactly,
give your time,
physically
be there, see the people, let the people see you. I mean, it is huge. We have a great national brand that you just spoke about, but I have to brand Robin Fowler.
Yes, absolutely.
Brand my business, my team, my causes, my efforts, my giving back, because they, the saying, they really don't care what you say until they care how you feel. I don't know if I said that right. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah,
it's something like that. They don't. People want to know that you care about them.
And they can see through, they're just here showing up for the appearance.
The pictures
or they're
whatever,
here, they're only here when the cameras are out, or they're here because they see the purpose and they see what can come of this.
Yeah.
So they want to be involved.
Yeah.
And for every time that the two of you are places and working and there's a picture of you doing it, there's 10 times that there's not. And I can attest to that, whether it's helping out at the golf tournament or at River Rec or helping with cleanup days and things like that. You and I have talked about putting one of those together for our downtown, just to give back. And it's not for any particular organization. It's just because you and I both can look out our window that we sit in front of all day and see the park and see, the sidewalks and things like that, and want to see it return to the days when you saw Mr. Hood out sweeping the sidewalk on a Saturday morning in a shirt and tie, or the folks from down at the Lafayette Mall.
And I don't know if you remember, or if you know this, the Retail Merchants Association, which was, it's a long time ago, but they would literally take turns, and Dave Tawney was one of them. They would check the doors of every retail merchant, actually every merchant. You didn't even have to be a member, to make sure they were locked. Back to what you were saying, though, community was help. Everybody helped everybody. Everybody took care of everyone. Everyone, well, I mean, to a certain extent, of course, but I mean, it was a different feeling, and that's coming back.
It is.
And doing things because it's the right thing to do. Because the community needs it. It's not for any other purpose, and it's amazing to see. And I know, and I'm amazingly grateful for the support the people have, their trust in us, and them paying me to do that for them. And so I can only give back. I mean, I owe it to this community to do that. That's just, and I feel, and I hope everybody hears me.
And it's not just Gallup Police.
No.
The things that we're seeing throughout Gallup County right now.
Whole
county.
If people haven't driven through Rio Grande in the last 6 weeks,
gosh. So proud of that
just
university.
wait. Just wait.
It's very exciting.
We were talking before we started recording. We're moving our annual awards because there's nowhere that the university can feed all of the students if we take the cafeteria. Because of an influx of new enrollment.
Everybody's on campus.
And just drive the street, drive down Lake Drive, drive down, was it North College, coming down from Callie's, coming down that way. Just look for the signs. And see the things that are happening, and that it's not just about inside the city limits for us here at the Chamber. It's not about that for you guys either.
Nope, absolutely not.
This community and county in general, they're growing, and people will naysay and things on occasion about people are moving away or whatever. There are reasons here now and are coming in the future, reasons to stay. Top-notch education.
Absolutely.
Could we use more industry? Absolutely.
Sure.
And I know for a fact organizations like the CIC and economic development offices are working diligently to bring those jobs to Gallia County. But in the meantime, things are happening, and they're happening quickly.
It's an amazing place to live, and a shout out again to the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College, what President Smith is doing, Ryan Smith.
Yes.
He's truly, his theme is changing tomorrows, and he is for many children all over the tri-state area and beyond. It is just amazing to see that campus full, and I drive by it every day. Well, I do now. You don't anymore, but I get to drive by it every day, and I just am just so full of pride and hope And I don't think we've had that for a while around here. We've just kind of been, okay, it's what it is.
That's
and now
exactly
we're like,
right.
oh, there's things happening, and it's a we're excited to go to school at the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College. It's a really great thing, and
I think the key to some of Ryan's success is his approachability.
oh my goodness, yeah.
He's
100%.
fantastic, and
Students love it.
We were talking about he called us. We were planning the annual awards, and we were trying to get the cafeteria. And most college presidents, I'm going to hear from in that situation where we need to talk about that. I'm going to hear from secretary, person who's in charge of the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't expect to look at your phone and it says Ryan Smith is calling, and he calls to say, hey, I'm sorry that we can't do this, but let's work together to find out how we can do it, and I'll help you in any way we can.
Oh, yeah.
That's very unusual, and we are very blessed to have him.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, our time has flown by.
Yes, it has.
I want to thank you guys for coming in. This been I think people have learned a lot, and they're going to see exactly what you guys what the two of you and your agency in general are doing to help give back to the community. And it's the Chamber of Commerce. We thank you for all you do to help us, and we see what you are doing out in the community, whether it's downtown or in Rio or wherever the need is. You guys seem to be there, so we thank you for that, and we thank our listeners for tuning in. Next week, Kevin Dennis from Field of Hope campus will join us. Until then, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to check back every Friday on YouTube on the Gallia County Chamber of Commerce channel for your latest episode of Talk of the Town, presented by the Gallia County Chamber of Commerce and Holzer Health System. You can also listen to the podcast every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on 93.1 The Wolf, WJEH-FM. If your local business organization would like to be a guest on Talk of the Town, please contact the Gallia County Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Josh Wellington at 740-446-0596.